What's that? 2 comic book reviews in one day. That's right, 80s Comics delivers so that you don't have to. It's Sergio Aragone's Groo The Wanderer, issue number 12 from February of 1986. Another amazing issue of Groo, which is a hilarious comic book. Like I said in the issue number 3 review, it's timeless. Though it's 80s, and though Groo's peak popularity was in the 80s, it doesn't necessarily look or feel like the 80s. This is just timeless, good fun, incredible artwork. And you could just admire the details for hours and hours and hours. There's so much stuff hidden in there. This issue even has butt cracks. And you know, it's like I've said before, butt cracks really make the comic book. This issue is like all Groo comic books. Hilarious, because Groo encounters a troupe of thespians. And what does he do? Well, he makes an ass out of himself. A bunch of people die, and it's really funny. Also admire, once again, the detail in Sergio Aragone's artwork. It's just riveting. Speaking of rivets, don't let me forget to comment on the beer mugs with rivets, because you know I love things with rivets. Rivets make everything better. Notice the GoBots don't have rivets. That's why the GoBots failed. I'm fairly certain that Nestle Quick cans did have rivets somewhere. That's why Nestle Quick succeeds. So, these thespians are... What do thespians do? They're actors. They're giving a performance. They're giving a performance. That's right. Death to the evil king. So Groo is so dumb he doesn't actually realize that it's make-believe. So he starts to attack all of the actors. And then the crowd loves it, because that's exactly the kind of thing a crowd would love. See, look, the crowd loves the fact that Groo is so dumb he almost killed the other actors, that they bring Groo along on tour with them. So Groo is now part of the acting troupe. It's like Game of Thrones, but with a better ending. Challenge of the GoBots. They're awesome. It's really funny. It's like you get so much bang for the buck with Groo. Then I was distracted by the Galtar advertisement, because I actually don't remember Galtar all that well. Jetsons I do. Everyone loves Jetsons, but maybe it's on Laserdisc. All right. So eventually, the acting troupe makes their way to a town where a king that nobody likes hires them to give a performance. And hey, G.I. Joe and Transformers on VHS. Here we go. Here's the part. Again with the details. So much great stuff going on in there. Look, while our people starve from overtaxation, King Ensue lavishes money on jugglers, acrobats, and minstrels. True obscenity. Exactly what would happen today, too. So these two are basically going to overthrow the government. And they have a plan to do this. But before I get into that, as I mentioned earlier, we've got butt cracks and beer mugs, beer steins with rivets. Butt cracks and beer steins with rivets in the same panel. Look, there's some more back there. There's one on the table. There's so many rivets in these flagons of ale. Just a great comic book. So, these guys go to assassinate the king, but then Groo, after having screwed up the entire issue, it finally sinks into his head that the whole thing is make-believe until it's not. And then he doesn't save the king, and then everyone gets mad at him because the king gets murdered and Groo just watches, and it's really fun. The king is dead, but everyone is laughing because it's an incredible comic book. Also, the king probably deserved it. Sergio Aragone's Groo The Wanderer, issue number 12. Yes, this is highly recommended by 80scomics.com, and you will love the entire Groo series if you think this looks good, because it is. I have to admit that I'm always disappointed when I go and look for like an Atari ad or some sort of like custom van model kit on the back of a comic book, and I don't find one. Lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my. Oh my. What does this advertisement say? So much. Say hello to 3 new Star Comics sensations, the Savage Thundercats, the Cuddly Care Bears, and Misty, the soap opera superstar who's setting the world on fire. She has like a skunk in a basket. Is she on drugs? See, here's how I read this. Notice her body language. Her knee is definitely pointing towards Lion-O. She's into Lion-O, but what she doesn't know is that Lion-O is into Tigra. I gotta call it like it is. We all know this. Because Panther is totally into Cheetara. That's how that rolls. That's how they roll, the Thundercats at least. And the Care Bears, well, let's just hope they spontaneously combust. Because that would be funny. I care about smoldering bear remnants.